Get ready for the Girls on Games podcast, your weekly dose of news, reviews, and everything video games. Always served with a good helping of hype and just a pinch of salt. And now, your host, Leah.
Hello and welcome to another Girls on Games podcast. My name is Leah. I'm the host of this show. This is episode 449.
Woo!
And this week, we're going to be talking about the great game media consolidation of 2024, Assassin's Creed Shadows reactions, Summer Game Fest schedule, and more. But before we get into that, I want to introduce you to the friendly voices around this digital table. Catherine, what's up?
Hello.
Hi, Joelle. How you doing?
Hello. I am rounding third base on my vacation, so I am actually glad to be here, but I don't want to go to work tomorrow. Don't make me.
We felt that way this time last week, so I feel your pain. All right, let's get through a little bit of housekeeping. I'd like to remind you that if you enjoy this show, you can subscribe. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Podbean. If you'd like to get some GOG merch, you can do that by going to designbyhumans.com/shop/girlsongames. Maybe you'd like to give us a tip, maybe buy us a coffee. You can do that by going to our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/girlsongames. And an extra little bit of housekeeping. Next week is Canadian Music Week. And I'm very busy, like extremely busy. So I was going to tell the girls to record without me until I realized it was episode 450. So we're going to skip a week because I was jealous and wanted to be here for 450. And it kind of works out too because this way... Because, you know, the way that we record and everything, too, we usually record on a Monday and then the episode releases usually on Thursdays, sometimes on Fridays. We would be, like, smack dab in the middle of all the chaos that is the fun of Summer Games Fest and all the events and things like that. So it's probably just best if we just record the Monday. The Ubisoft event will be then done. And then, yeah, when it comes out, it'll be like a full wrap report. So be prepared for a long but good one for 450. Maybe Simon will come back for 450.
Oh, don't
Simon?
toy with me. Oh,
Simon!
peer pressure.
He's been very busy with work, so.
I know he has been very, very busy. But happy birthday, Simon. Happy belated birthday.
Yes.
We saw that in our Discord channel as we were all screaming happy birthday at him the other day. He showed off what Ari had bought him, and it's a Bowser Lego set. And we're all very jealous in our adult life of wanting to build Legos.
It's true.
It's got to be an insane thing to build.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the amount of bricks and the instructions. But at the end, you have Bowser.
There's cool apps now, though, that like let you kind of walk you through it on your phone, but like in 3D.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my our friend Tony, who he lives in Ottawa, he had gotten the botanical bonsai tree. Him and his girlfriend, and they were putting it together. And apparently, it has this app now that you can use to do that and help you out. And I was like, "Holy smokes, that's really cool."
They have that now with some... I was putting together a piece of furniture. I think it was from Wayfair. And it wasn't from IKEA. And you could scan the QR code. They gave you, like, a one-page thing of, like, this is your inventory and this is what it should look like when you're done. But if you wanted a step-by-step, you had to scan the QR code. And it took you on your phone to, like, this very, like, professional... detailed video of like how to put it together step by step, and I was like, oh, like there's actually like no paper directions. So I don't know how that works for like usability and yada yada yada, but like I was like, this is kind of nice. Like in real time I can watch. Yeah,
less paper to recycle, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
Give or take, right? It's
right.
like
yeah.
Ladies, what have you been at this week? Catherine?
I actually been very busy. Thursday I went to a conference by what's her name? Celia Hodent. She's a UX designer that worked on Fortnite Save the World and other games, and she now writes books. I have her book here, The Gamer's Brain. I also have her book, The Psychology of Video Games. She's somebody with a psychology background.
Oh, okay.
That started working in games. Probably one of the first, really person to do UX in games or to bring the practice of UX to games. So she was having a free conference on Thursday night, and it was in the Mile End, across the street from Ubisoft. So I went there with the UX designer on my team. And I saw friends there. I was supposed to stay and mingle because I saw a few friendly faces in the crowd, but the Q&A was taking way too damn long, and I unfortunately had a hard stop around 7:30, so I didn't stay for the mingle part. But the conference was very interesting. Very interesting. Her kind of stuff, if you're sitting there and you're like, I'm not a UX designer, I'm like, a lot of her stuff is just general UX for the benefit of anybody that works in games. Not all of her examples were UI. A lot of her examples was how do you convey an environment that, something is a bush and you can walk through it, but something is a hard surface, so you can't walk through it, and maybe you can vault over it and things like that. It involves way more than just UI. A lot of it is UI, but in the end, it's it was just a nice conference to have a UX mindset when you do your things. Because sometimes you make changes and the artistry wants to take over, whereas this is prettier and whatever, and this is the great thing, and then you put it in player's hand and they don't understand shit about fuck. So then you come back and you're yeah, you need to have a red barrel for them to understand that when you shoot it, it'll explode.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why in many games, Horizon being one of them, marking surfaces that you can climb with yellow. In Senua, they do it with white, all these stuff, all that stuff. It was very interesting, if not a bit long at the end. Yeah, that's what I did on Thursday, and then weekend just hanging out with friends. We were supposed to have our Old Gods of Appalachia TTRPG session on Sunday. Unfortunately, Simon was feeling under the weather, so we moved it. So I ended up doing a lot of chores and stuff. Yeah, playing games.
Good. Well, we'll get into the games in a bit. Joelle, how about you?
I took Friday off, and it was Memorial Day weekend holiday. We're recording Memorial Day, so if you are a veteran, thank you for your service. Just always it's a big sacrifice for folks to do that, so thank you for doing that. And so I had a crazy day on Friday. I just did all the things I could. So my boyfriend and I, we are trying to get our motorcycle license. So we're going to add that to the list of things to do. He's been wanting to do this for a really long time. He doesn't have a motorcycle yet. I don't yet. He really wants one, but he wants to be able to ride with me too, if I get one in the future, if I'm able to rent one. So I went and I had to take a permit test at the DMV. So I went and did that, and then we're taking a motorcycle safety course. And if you pass that course, you automatically get your license. You don't have to test again. So I had to go get my permit, and then I finished the safety course online. It's a 5-hour e-course you have to complete. So I also did that, and then we kind of just chilled the rest of the weekend, which was really nice. I really like when I have some time off and it's not so full. of things to do. Like, it's like, okay, I have like these few things I have to do, and then the rest, like, what gets done, and I don't like have to pack or do all these crazy stuff. We did hang out with some friends on Saturday afternoon, which was really nice, just to get out and see them. Otherwise, it was like fairly chill, which was good. We went and got new Apple Watches, which was really cool to go do kind of together, and it's his first one, so it was kind of funny, like watching him set it up and him getting used to it and things like that. And of course, like we don't keep like up to date with all the electronic stuff, so we have like no USB-C ports for charging. We're still like USB.
Oh, the new ones are USB-C. That makes sense.
Yeah. So he got an Ultra and I got a 9. I traded in and upgraded to a 9. And so we got back. We're like, oh, we don't have any really way to charge these. And so I went on to Amazon and I immediately ordered a bunch of like adapters and some USB-C, wall outlets, just so we had some way to do it. And like you had mentioned, Leah had mentioned off recording that you bought Mike like a cool keychain charger for it's like a battery pack that you pre-charge like you would like a battery pack for your phone or whatever. And because I was like, if he goes out camping or whatever, it's an easy way for him to just have it there charged, right? Yeah, so I got a 2-pack of those, and they're so cool because they're about like an inch by inch, so they're very small. And yeah, it's neat because it said it had it's got 2 charges on it. So I thought, oh, this is perfect to make sure to keep just in case like you don't have a way to plug anything in. You just have your own battery pack for your watch. So especially since the 9s, like I know I have to charge mine like every day. So
yeah. It's the thing is too, is like when you go traveling, you've got to bring so many different cables and different things now. Like we were talking about, because like I've got a 15 Pro and a 14 Pro, and they both have a different charge port on them. But luckily, they both have the MagSafe charging or whatever. And then I've got the watch, and then I've got the Switch, and then I've got the iPad, and then I've got the headphones that I wear to sleep, and then I've got my Apple headphones. It's just like you end up carrying so many flippin' cables. It's ridiculous. I mean, this is the reason why we're getting the USB-C to everything right now, but yeah, if there's just a way to like minimize it. And then also too, like oftentimes you go places and you don't have that many plugs. I will like when I go down south, I'll even go with like an extension cord / power bar just because we have so many electronics we have to plug in that I need all the plugs I can get. So actually last time Mike and I brought because we have bedside tables that have like a watch charger, a phone charger, and then an AirPod charger connected, and it folds right flat. He and I both brought those with us, and that was perfect because I could charge my phone, charge the watch, charge the AirPods, and just have one cable. And it has a little light on it too. It's a really good machine. But yeah, if there's a way you can minimize that much stuff and then not have as many things that you need to plug in and still have power, it's great.
Yeah, I invested in like a fairly hefty external bar, a battery, which like boasts like you could do 2 MacBook charges on it, and I think you can because I've done like several phone charges, several iPod case charges, and like it's just so nice to have it keep it in my work bag. I have like a little electronics pouch where I have all my little cords like neatly wrapped up and like in their little places, and it's like, okay, if I just take this one thing with me, I have everything I need. I don't have to like try to like grab different stuff. So we added some of those things to our little travel like pouches, so we would but I was like, oh yeah, this is like we're now entering into USB-C and I'm still on USB, so we're like thinking like what else do we have to replace around the house that doesn't have it where we normally charge stuff. So we're just like, all right, cool technology. So but I mean obviously we're so spoiled, like we just got watches that we don't need, but they're great, we love them. So yeah.
On my end, I solved my Bluetooth problem.
Yay.
Okay, what was the mystery solved? Let's go.
So So I like spent all this time on the phone with Simon trying to figure out what the heck was wrong, and we couldn't figure it out. We did all these drivers downloads, we did all these updates, nothing was happening. And so on a whim, I was like, okay, well, let me buy one of those USB plug-in Bluetooth things, and got that, and that didn't work. And I said, frig, I'm gonna have to call Newegg. So I called Newegg and was on the phone with Buddy for quite a while. Now, Simon had mentioned, was there something in the box that looked like this? And he showed me this weird, looked like almost like a kickstand. And I was like, no, I don't remember seeing anything like that. And when I was on the phone with the dude from Newegg, and we were trying a whole bunch of stuff and whatever, and he had mentioned the word, I had mentioned the word antenna, but he never really said too much of it afterwards. And then he gave me the number to call SkyTech, who makes my computer. And I called them and then realized it was after hours for them. So I was like, frick. I kept the box. Maybe there's something in there. Because I remember there was like SATA cables and things like that in there. So I went on a hunt, pulled out the box, opened it up, found 2 packages. And one of the packages, which would be really hard to tell unless you were actually looking for them, had 2 antennae in them. And on the back of the PC, there are 2 antennae screw-in ports. One, I think, is Wi-Fi, and the other one, I think, is Bluetooth. So I plugged it in, and guess what? She worked. Here's the thing, though. Why didn't they put instructions in the package what that was? Because, like, seriously, there's a whole bunch of different cables in there. Mm-hmm. I don't know what any of this stuff is. There was no explanations.
Was it not in your motherboard? Like, was there any motherboard manual?
No, there was nothing. And then, like, an online thing you had to go and look at, but there was, like, no info. So, like, if you're, like, PC base level 1, like I was looking at the back of it, I was like, where do I plug this in? Like, and the thing is, too, is it's in with other cables. So you wouldn't even really know what it is, right? Because it's all black in a piece of plastic. And I'm not going to just take cables out willy-nilly for no reason. If I'm not going to use it, I'm going to put it, they say, keep the box in case there's a warranty issue or whatever. So Mike didn't want me to keep the box.
Wow.
I kept the box.
At least a year. I don't know. In my mind, I'm like, I keep stuff.
Me
like,
too.
At least a year.
At least if you need to, like,
shit.
Yeah.
So
I know.
I made space though. Yeah. So I got it to work. So I am now listening to you guys on a Bluetooth headset.
Yay.
I have been playing games on my PC with my Xbox controller connected Bluetooth. And life is good.
The world is right again.
I'm no longer cursing on what did I buy? Why is this broken? Am I going to have to send it back? Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. So yeah, that was that. So I got that solved earlier in the week. And then yesterday, Sunday, was Mike's and my 9-year wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So we went out to dinner, and I had good food, and it was delicious. And Kat, when you make it to Toronto, we're going to go to Antler, and you guys will enjoy it. Highly recommend that restaurant. It's got its first Michelin star in 2023.
Oh,
really?
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's delicious. Especially if you like game food, like we had venison tartare. So good. So good.
Okay, I'm really glad that you had a great restaurant experience. Can I?
Oh, did you not?
Can I just have like a little time back?
Yes, the floor is yours.
So, okay, I'm glad that you had so when you talked about Michelin star and like really good food, there was this new kind of hip and trendy sushi place downtown, like in the North Loop of Minneapolis, and I won't like say the name, but it was really hyped. It was really good reviews. It was really hard to get reservations there. I really wanted to go there for my birthday back in March, but Ryan got sick. Then we couldn't go, and it became this whole thing. So then I ended up canceling and like blah blah blah. But I always really wanted to go. And the other day I was like, okay, Ryan, like you plan a date night. Like every once in a while, I'm just like, all right, you got to plan a date night. It's your turn. You do it. So he, without prompting, he made reservations at this restaurant so we could finally go and like try. And it has boasted like the sushi boats and like it looked really great online. And like we got there and the atmosphere was really cool. Really cool ambiance, like a lot of warm wood, and kind of the big sake bottles were on the wall, and really cool art, great music. And we get down and we order our drinks, and our drinks are like kind of like so-so. And this is a bit more of an expensive, like higher tier place like to go to. And we're like, well, like, okay, like maybe it was the drinks that we ordered or whatever. And sometimes like drinks aren't, maybe we know. It's just, it was kind of like, oh, these weren't maybe what we would expect. And then like the sushi came, and like it was like low key, like not that good. And I don't know like what had happened, but like they're fairly expensive like rolls to get, and we got kind of most recommended like on the menu because it was our first time there, and we just like didn't. It seemed like the place was kind of really all about the aesthetic like vibe of stuff, and some of the like quality behind. Not that it's not quality, like I'm not like trying to like say this restaurant isn't good, but like for my opinion, I just thought like there's a sushi place not too far from me that like we thought was fantastic. Like it's just like the sushi that you want. It's delicious. It has like hits all the notes. I don't know if this one was just trying to be like too cool or like too hip for like sushi stuff, but a part of me was just thinking like we got on this topic around like, is the aesthetic piece of it what's driving the customer base now instead of like it being really good. So I'm just glad
some places are like that though. My sister, when she went to Italy, she booked all these different places, and one of them that was really like high end 5-star dining, and that was her least favorite meal. Her favorite meal was actually the one that was like a kind of pop-up, like they just went randomly into this spot that someone there, they were like, we want to eat local, and someone was like, go here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, that happens. And I find too that like a lot of times, like especially in desserts, like the prettiest looking desserts are often not the most flavorful.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, and hype is not everything too.
I know. I just was so like, oh, this like looks so good, and I like I drank that sake because I was like, I want it. Like I want to see what this is all about. I want to experience this restaurant, and it's so full. And usually like around that area, and when you get buzzed around a chef, it's like, because like. Not that we're not a foodie spot, but we have a lot of like good stuff, you know. But we're not like we're not Chicago. Right. So like, usually if something's got a lot of buzz around it, it probably means something. But anyway, it was just like we kind of had a bust of a date night. And then we tried to go
and you've got to try.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to try.
That's all we could do. And then we were downtown, and the Timberwolves were playing their second game of their finals. And as we were leaving, the traffic started, so then us old farts were like, well, maybe we should just go home so we miss all the traffic out of the city. So we just ended up going back home. We were out for like maybe 2 hours.
Listen,
like, well, all right.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I know, it was just kind of a funny, I was like, we sound so old.
Like our favorite dining experience while we were in the Netherlands were like this local brewery type place that was in Monnikendam, which is like the village near where we stayed. And it was like a brewery that was set up in a building from the 1200s, I think. They used to weigh cheese there. The balance is still there. Very limited menu, full bar type of place. The local hits. Best meal we had. Their burger was to die for. Mm-hmm. And it was just like everything we ate in Amsterdam was like, it was okay. It was good. You know, it was great. We went to this random place, and we also went to a random Asian place in that same village. And that shit hit different. Like, honestly, we ate. Our favorite restaurants were clearly like local joints. Sometimes it's like the hype and they kind of like sit on it, or is it the hype makes you expect more, and when you get there and it's just food, you're like, ugh. I don't know. I find it's the same in Montreal. Like, you go into the recommended spots, like in the old port, it's either the best shit you ate, or it's like, I could have ordered sushi from the place next door and would have been better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you don't know until you go and try, because the thing is, too, is like, some people might go and they have an exceptional time, and then other people go and they're like, meh. And it depends, too, on what you taste, like, what you like, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, it's just like video games.
It sure is. Sorry, I got off on that. I just was like, oh, I'm glad you went to a good restaurant, because I feel like I did it. Jealous of your experience.
No, I get you. And if you come to Toronto, we will definitely go there. There's another one that's fantastic too. It's called Woods, and it actually looks like you're in the woods in the place. And then there's a great Italian spot that my sister goes to all the time that we've been to. There's good eats here in Toronto, I gotta say. There is very good eats here. All right, Fantasy Critic. On the podcast side,
we're all waiting for Summer Game Fest.
I know, it's so true. May 18th, I guess I would have had that last week. I picked up Assassin's Creed Shadows, so we will see how that fares. I believe our standings didn't change. It's still me, Joelle, and Kat in that order. But Joelle, you had Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake, which gave you a whopping 18 points. Cool. So that was a good batch there. Mm-hmm. I don't think there was any other updates after that.
Senua's Saga.
Yeah. So you Kat got 11 points for that one.
Mm-hmm. Also, so that's where we stand pick. There. Yep.
Yeah, great pick. But yes, we are going to have our fingers on the triggers as we try to get more games over the course of Summer Game Fest that we know are coming. Be prepared for this website to be slow as cold molasses or not load at all.
Yeah.
On the community side, Darth is still in first. But I have jumped up into second. Why is that? I had Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. So that gave me 18 points. But additionally, this is another one where, Pugs and Pixels. Jessica Starr has all of her games filled out. That's fantastic. And it's a hold right now and No Rest for the Wicked. It's at 73, so just waiting to see if she gets more points there. Let's see, has anybody else got their stuff filled out? Ross is really close. He's got one left. Yeah, it's going to be interesting on the community side. Offshore Meteor only has one spot left, too. So it's going to be interesting on the community side to see who picks up what. Let's see if there was any history of things acquired. Let's see. Ross, Cool Games for Attractive People, picked up Doom Year Zero with a bid of $11. Pugs and Pixels, and this was the week before, acquired Starfield Shattered Space with a bid of $17. That must be the DLC. So yeah, things are moving along there nicely. Okay, let's talk about what everybody's playing. Catherine, how goes Senua's Saga Hellblade 2?
I roll the credits on it literally 15 minutes before we started recording this.
Oh, well now.
And I am not okay. I am... Ninja Theory? You can't keep doing this to me. Every time I play this game, I am not the same. At the end of the game. I am not the same person. And in this game, they keep saying, like, wisdom has a price. And I am like, yeah, fuck yeah, sister. Not to spoil or anything, but yeah, it is. I hope they keep making more of these, honestly. Thoroughly enjoyed my experience. I know it's not for everybody. Definitely, like, now that I finish it, I can say that it is not as psycho thriller as the first one. And I think it's definitely because it feels a bit more grounded in reality, because you do have other characters, like NPCs, active in the story. Yeah. And beautiful, beautiful game. Beautiful in every aspect. Beautifully written. beautifully acted. It's gorgeous as fuck. Yeah. I'm going to need to like stare at the void while I kind of like absorb and what happened to me, and then I'm going to go back to Horizon Forbidden West and have to relearn all the controls because like in between that I played Senua in two weekends, but in between that we had a tournament at work, a For Honor tournament.
Oh.
So of course, like first match, I'm like, wait, that's not parry. Like parrying and blocking in Senua is the light attack in For Honor. It was my first duel was messed up, and I was like, I got it. I readjust. I got it, boys. I'm back. And then I go back to Senua, and I'm trying to like parry, and I'm like, why isn't this working? I'm like, right, I am hitting the wrong button. So I feel like when I go back to for Horizon, I'll have to like look at the tutorials.
Yeah.
Joelle, you're playing Hellblade 2 as well?
I am. I know that's not epic content, but I had to. Like, it's on Game Pass.
Why not,
it was
right?
Right for the plucking, and I thought I enjoyed watching the first game so much. I didn't play it. But I think I'm going to have to take this game in pieces because I don't know if I can do, like, long plays.
It's not long plays.
It's just because there's so much going on all the time. And when you do have the headphones on, it sure does like make it such a really immersive experience with the headphones. And also like sometimes when people whisper in my ear, it like creates a little like tickle in the back of like my neck, like my nerve. And I like
the ASMR like reaction.
I feel it already.
Yeah, and I'm like, and so like when they're talking to me, and I'm like, so it's I have to like fight this like urge to like scratch or like kind of take off. So, but it is fantastic. Like the first opening sequence is phenomenal. So I'm gonna take it in chunks, but I wanted to start it because I knew it wasn't very long. So I was like, well, if it's not very long, I think I can take it in pieces and we can go forward from there. And it is just so gripping.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It's so unique. So it's such a wonderful gift. And I'm like, all right, if I can get my hands on this, I'm just gonna do it and try to roll through it, even though it's a bit much. But I'm gonna forge ahead.
Yeah. The way I'm not sure exactly how much time I spent in my playthrough, but it is 6 chapters, and each chapter is about 90 minutes, 2 hours ish.
Yeah.
And yeah, I played it in chunks. Like even if I like spent a lot of like Sunday playing, I would like play a story beat, pause it, scroll a bit through TikTok, shuffle
Ground
the
yourself.
laundry a bit.
Yeah.
Come back like 20 minutes later, maybe play more. I kind of like feel like I devoured this one compared to the first one, but I still couldn't play it like in one sitting. Definitely, like I nibbled at it through, and in 2 weeks I finished it. But like there was also like I also got it early, so that's why I was almost done by the time the game came out, and also because I was reviewing it this time, I was playing it for review. The first time I played it, I just kind of like saw it on Game Pass and played it. It had been out for a while. So I kind of like went through it with the idea that I need to get as much as this game in I can before the episode. Mm-hmm. And in hindsight, I kind of regret it for my own enjoyment. But at the same time, I'm like, this is the kind of game that like maybe next year I might want to play like the 2 games back to get back again. So, but it's... yeah, it's definitely there's no game like this on the market. Like I don't know, Joel, now that you're playing it, like I don't see what other games I can explain that is like this. I've played a lot of like immersive, which were basically like interactive movies. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's like it's not even like even Until Dawn is nothing like Hellblade.
Because that's a traditional horror in the sense it's like jump scares and whatever else. It's not the psychological self-doubt stuff, right?
Yeah, and there's choices in Until Dawn, and there's different endings. Mm-hmm. There's not that in Hellblade.
Okay.
It's really like it's very much like more like The Last of Us in the term. That's like they have a set story and you experience it and you play through it. But it's I don't know. It's definitely like quality over quantity. Are you playing on PC, Joel?
Yep, I'm playing on my PC because I don't have an Xbox, and I want to play it on my desk. I don't know if I'll even try it on the Ally because I just want to. It works on, like, I just kind of want to experience it and play it. So I have a pretty good gaming monitor. So I'll keep it there. But yeah, I'm playing on PC, and I was a little worried that my graphics card is like the minimum it had on there to run it. So I was like, please work. I was just like, here we go, and it's been fine. It's been totally fine so far. So. But yeah, I will say that with Hellblade, like my graphics card and my processor are now at hit minimum. So I'm like, like we're starting.
They definitely go for like, I would say like they go for the most recent or like the center of the current cycle. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like you can tell that they want like the prettiest game possible, so they're like fuck old machines. But it does work.
Yep.
They had to hit like the Series S. Mm-hmm. So they have to run at 30 frames per second, 1080p.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's what saved you, the fact that they have to cater to the S.
Yeah.
Because your computer sounds like it's about just like that.
Yep, it's probably around there. And I knew, because I'd watched some reviews on it, and they're like, oh, it's capped at 30 frames per second. And I was like, perfect. That means I'll be able to, I can do it. Because it's capped.
And honestly, before like the game performance people and the PC Master gets in the comment, like I played on the Series X at like the best setting. And you know what? 30 frames per second is what you want for this kind of cinematic game.
Yeah.
It is not a competitive shooter. It is an experience. You get to see the beautiful views of Iceland and just kind of like fucking just shut up and enjoy the game. Like you need I'm actually surprised they didn't go at 24 to really have that cinematic feel. Mm-hmm. I didn't even notice it was 30 frames per second. I launched the game. I saw all the ray tracing and the water droplets and everything. I was just like, oh, this shit's good.
No, it is. It is good. And I'm glad they're like, nope, this is your frame rate. Like, you don't get a say.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. No, this is your frame rate, and you'll be happy about it. Say thank you.
Awesome. I'm still playing Haunty and getting deeper and deeper. God, that game is pretty. And the music is really good.
It looks so fun.
It's really good. And I have a feeling it's not super long either. I think I'm halfway right now. I did a boss battle or two, and they were really fun. So yeah, I'm gonna work my way through that. It's perfect because a few weekends ago we went out and bought new patio furniture, and Mike is now working Friday, Saturdays, and off Sunday, Mondays. So I had Saturday kind of after running a bunch of errands and stuff, and just sat out on the patio with a Aperol spritz and some music and the game, and it was good. Yeah, but then today, hot off the press, I'm doing my my walking on my walking pad and flipping through YouTube, and I come across a YouTuber that I've been following for a while that plays a lot of the types of games that I like to play. And this game that he was playing is called Little Known Galaxy, and it came out on the 20th of May. There is a demo that you can save your progression with, which is essentially Stardew Valley in space.
Ooh.
On a
Did
spaceship.
Did I see that in the Game Pass?
Is it really?
Or was it Haunty that I saw?
Haunty is in Game Pass for sure. I don't know. This one may be too. I don't know. I just saw it on PC. So let's look it up.
I think it's just Steam.
Just Steam right now? Yeah. So there's a demo. So I watched the YouTube video for like, I don't know, 15 minutes and said, sold! I went and downloaded the demo. I'm playing it myself. Gonna see how far I get with it and then probably get the full game. It's really cute so far. I really have only just gotten through the very first day. It has similar tropes that you are used to with a farming sim, cozy sim kind of S game. You know, I've got a ray gun that can clean up debris. It looks like I'm going to be able to farm items. I have gone around and met all the people living on my ship that I am the captain of. I feel a little bit like Star Trek in this. They mention a holodeck, so let's see. I'm intrigued. I mean, like, seriously, I played one day. So we'll continue with that and see where it takes us. But I'm a sucker for a good farming cozy sim.
In space.
It looks adorable, honestly.
Space.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's made by two people. I mean, the studio is called Carbon and K, and when you go into the About, it says Carbon co-founder, K co-founder. There you go.
That's all you need to know. Two people. I think it's like $25.99 for the game, which is, and that's Canadian, so cheaper for you, Joelle.
Probably around $20.
Yeah.
So I will continue plugging away at that and continue plugging away at Haunty. As I wait patiently for Minecraft 1.21 to drop. I have a feeling they're going to talk about that in the Summer Games Fest for the Xbox thing. It's weird that they haven't announced it yet. Really weird.
Don't they have their, like...
They usually announce it by now. It's usually like the 7th of June that they drop. So or like that.
Did they have their like yearly Minecraft-a-thon that they usually have?
That's in October. And that's usually the one that announces what's coming out now, and then they get all the beta releases and people are testing things and the previews and all this kind of stuff. And I just feel like, and Tricky Trials is the name of this one. They've got new blocks. There's a new like trials chamber. There's some new mobs, a new weapon. So like there's a whole bunch of stuff, and like I haven't played Minecraft on my fancy pants new PC yet, and it is time. So I am just biting. There's a lot, like there's a whole bunch of updates that I didn't really partake in because it was not running well on my old PC. And in October when they announced it, I was like, no, okay, I'm going to wait for the new update to come, and then I'm going to start a new world and really put this PC to the work with like changing shaders and render settings and gotta try that out. So yeah, I'm biding my time for that. But I think it's time we take a walk down memory card lane, ladies. Each week, the team will have to guess a historical game that would have been released during the time of this episode's airing. We'll start with its release date, then I will give hints about the game for the team to attempt to guess what it is. As always, talk it out. This game released June 6th, 1993 in Japan.
Oh my god.
August 6th, 1993 in North America, and December 1st, 1993 in the EU. Let the guessing begin.
Okay. We're going for the NES or the SNES, eh? Alright. What was I doing in 93? Possibly eating glue in my class. I was 8 years old, so possibly past the eating glue stage.
Let's hope so. In Japan first. Well,
yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Want another hint?
Yeah.
This game was inspired by the TV series Twin Peaks.
Oh. I remember Twin Peaks.
A Zombie Ate My Neighbor?
No.
Oh. I don't know if that released in Japan first, but...
I forgot about that game.
What?
Is that game that old?
Yeah. Zombie Ate My Neighbor?
Oh my god.
I think so. Yeah. Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Is it when did Earthbound come out? Is it Earthbound?
No.
Okay.
Mother?
No.
Not Earthbound nor Mother. Inspired by Twin Peaks. Wow.
Do you want another hint?
Yeah, I feel like we're getting sidetracked. We're blindsided by Twin Peaks, and it's actually more obvious.
So,
Wait.
hold on. Zombie Ate My Neighbors, Google is telling me it released July 19th, 1993.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
You're right on the money then.
So close.
Not
All
that
right.
game, though. Sorry.
All right. Nope, that's fine. I
Okay.
just had to point out.
Actually.
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 Push my glasses.
Okay.
The game's music was composed by Katsumi oh my gosh, I'm terrible at names. Katsumi Totaka, who also voices the character Totakiki, aka KK Slider, in the Animal Crossing series.
Wow, that's a fun fact.
That's a tidbit.
I don't know. Cat's face is like she's trying. She's diving in the
I'm
archives.
sorry, I'm trying to
I know.
I'm going through my mind palace, be like, go back to your childhood, you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm fucking with your heads.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's the Twin Peaks reference
It is,
that's
it is.
throwing me for a loop.
I'm ready for another one.
Okay. There are fishing mechanics in this game.
Oh my god.
I love it.
Fishing mechanics.
In a murder mystery. Because Twin Peaks is a murder mystery. Is this game a murder mystery?
What?
Do you want to
I. Yeah, like a part of me is like, is this like a deep cut game? Like, what kind of game is this? Is this like one of those like is it Twin Peaks for a SNES? Like,
No.
is that what it is? All right.
No.
I feel like it's obvious, but it's like
I know.
last week with the Magic Carp Jump where we just kind of like latched onto a clue and couldn't see the forest for the trees.
True.
It's an action adventure game.
Okay, thanks. Great hint. Oh.
It's not one of the Zeldas, is it? Like Zelda 2? Fish in Zelda? No, we didn't fish in Zelda until like later, I feel.
There's fishing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm coming up with something.
Yeah, I'm coming up blank.
Though part of a series, key characters are missing.
Is it a Final Fantasy? With no Sid and no chocobos? Final Fantasy 6?
I like Leah's delayed reaction.
Someone's gonna be easy, and I threw you off.
She's playing the gamers for the game.
Watch it be like some fucking Mario
Is
game.
it no way.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. Fuck's sakes. No way.
No way.
One other hint?
Yeah.
Game Boy.
Okay. Kirby? Would it be is there a Kirby game that was like this? Of Twin Peaks.
A Game Boy game. Part of the series, inspired by Twin Peaks.
Action adventure. People are missing. like you said, do you have to? I wonder if you have to find the people that are missing.
It's not Link's Awakening, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh my god! Shut up!
I am done with this game.
No way!
No way!
What?
Fuck's sakes! Yes,
It was not.
on June 6,
not
1993, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening released in Japan. Then it came out in North America on August 6th, and then December 1st in the EU. It's an action-adventure game that took place on the Game Boy. Though part of the Zelda series, key characters are missing. There's no Ganon. There's no Zelda. The game was inspired by the TV series Twin Peaks. The game's music was composed by the gentleman who also did the voice of the Animal Crossing series' character, KK Slider. It includes several cameos from other franchises. Oh. There are fishing mechanics. It's known for its challenging puzzles. And my very last one was going to be a full remake was released in 2019.
Oh,
Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening.
I can't believe
Link's Awakening is based on Twin Peaks.
I did not.
So the
never
internet
would
told
have.
me.
I did not know that.
I would never have.
It's all a dream.
Well, obviously.
It's all a motherfucking dream, man.
That totally threw it off.
Yeah, I knew it would.
Wow.
I knew it would.
I almost asked if it was a console or a Game Boy when you said the date. I was like, I wonder if this is a console or a Game Boy or.
I was so close when I mentioned Zelda and fishing,
You did.
and I forgot.
I didn't say anything.
I forgot there was fishing in
Link's
this
Awakening.
one.
And
Yeah.
a convoluted trading sequence.
And an adorable remake. If people are interested, they should definitely play it.
Oh my
'cause it's
god,
very
the
fun.
remake. The
It's so
remake,
good.
The remake-
is so good.
So stinking cute.
I love the remake. Wish it was not fucking full price though.
True, but
Yeah, I get that.
Nintendo.
Oh, they stuck that Nintendo tax on. Like
They
this
did.
is like gas or cigarettes, where it's like you're 15% is the price of the thing. The rest is just tax.
And again, Nintendo was like, "Here you are. Say thank you." And
we were like,
"Thank you."
Give it to me.
Give it
Put
to
it
me now.
intravenous. Right in there. Yeah, right in
Wow,
there.
that was nice.
And
Nicely done.
even then, like fucking $70, and it had frame rate issues, and we're still like, thank you so much, Nintendo.
Was that the game or is that the Switch?
Never have been so happy to play a game with frame rate issues.
Says the woman who enjoyed Pokemon Scarlet. That was me.
That was you, yeah.
That was me.
That was you. I was like, I'm not playing that game. Frame rate issues.
Frame rate issues. Fail. Fired. All right, ladies. We are almost an hour into this podcast, and we haven't covered the news yet. Let's go do that.
Sorry.
All right, this is going to be the power hour of the news because we keep realizing we have the gift gab, and by the time we actually get to the topic of the show or the news, we're like already talked a really long time. I'm glad you guys have enjoyed longer episodes from us lately. That's what we get for walk down memory card lane. It's my own fault for inserting that into the show.
Or just make them easier, Leah. Then we'll get them sooner.
No, where's the fun in that? I like causing the torture.
We're compensating for like when she was like, oh, February 14, 2017. I was like, oh, For Honor, and it was done.
Yeah, exactly.
And we moved on.
You win some, you lose some, okay? Kat, bring us through this Square Enix story.
Yes, so former Square Enix exec went on a Twitter thread to explain why sales don't meet expectations and the chances of recouping insane AAA budgets are harder. And this is about Final Fantasy 16. So this article is from Game World Observer, where former Square Enix executive Jacob Navak shared his thoughts on the sales, and he tried to explain why people think that Japanese publisher is simply setting unrealistic goals for its products. And I think it's something we're seeing also like in all types of publishers. So because like this is the season of financial reports, right? Mm-hmm. For a lot of companies, they don't use the calendar year. They use a financial year that ends on March 31st and April 1st. So we're in Q1 of FY 24-25 for those of you who follow the corpo speak. So financial reports are out. So the Square Enix president Takashi Kiryu during an earnings call said that Final Fantasy XVI foam stars, of course, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth failed to meet the company's expectation. He didn't disclose or update the sales figures, only saying that Final Fantasy 15 can achieve its goal within 18 months. So that's why the former executive, Jacob Novak, he was the former director of business development at Square Enix. And he was attempted to debunk the misconception that games have unrealistic expectation. He says sell expectations generally come from a need to cover the cost of the development plus return on investment. So basically it's how much a game costs you plus how much more you need to make to have a
P&L.
Yeah, to have some profit. So he noted that game costs $100 million to make over 5 years. It has to beat what the company could have returned investing a similar amount in the stock market over the same period. But besides production budgets, there are marketing costs, platform fees,
Of course.
yada, yada, yada. And basically he says, assume marketing expenses at $50 million and assume that you're not going to get $49 million after 30%. You're not going to get $49 per sale after the 30% platform fees, but rather average closer to $40 given discounts, returns, and other aspects. Now, let's say that in the first month you sold 3 million copies with that $40 net receive. You need to surpass $254 million to make expectations. So that's $100 million plus $100 million in return on investment baseline plus $50 million in marketing. So if you're keeping track, that's $251 million to make. So, and with 3 million copy of Final Fantasy 16 sold, the company would have made only around $120 million according to these rough estimates. And budgets of AAA games like this are likely higher than $100 million. Another thing that Novak noted is the core of the problem is that budgets were set in a period where the expectation was that the audience would grow. So these decisions are made it's a 5 to 6 year cycle to make a game. Mm-hmm. So these decisions are from between 2015 and pre-pandemic, basically, when the game industry was growing rapidly every year. And basically in what Novak called the pre-Fortnite era. Mm. So before the boom of massive online free-to-play cross-platform games, which is now a major competitor for people's attention. So it was easier to forecast that an audience had a certain amount of money that they could spend on AAA releases. But now you're people are spending money in microtransaction, things like that. So now you have to take that into account. But it's easier to budget game sales against game sales. But what about long-term microtransaction? So now you got Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone, Apex Legend, And that was not predictable in 2015. So basically he says the Fortniteization of the industry was not entirely predictable in 2015 when budgets were being planned. Even after Fortnite came out and well into COVID period, it felt like industry growth was pulling all ships forward, not just a handful, but it's not what happened. So, Novak also cited other less realistic way. If publishers can capture more of the platform's side revenue, they can moderate price point increase while capturing a better return on investment because they'll be capturing $50 or $55 out of 70. So I thought this was very insightful in terms of when people sit down and why do they make these expectations and they seem out of nowhere? They're never out of nowhere. And because the industry moves kind of slow, you can't pump out games like Senua's Saga in 2 years. You just can't. You have to think that maybe your sales target have to be either on a much longer term, you have to possibly find a way to include platforms and subscription services into that revenue stream and how that can affect your sales and your revenue. Square Enix recently announced a plan to aggressively pursue a multi-platform strategy. So instead of they've been known to have making exclusives. Mm-hmm. Like Final Fantasy right now is pretty much exclusive to PlayStation, coming to PC much later. But I played Final Fantasy 15, the previous one, on Xbox. They're bringing the back catalog to Xbox now. Their own Final Fantasy 13, their online MMO, is now on Xbox. So maybe they're looking to expand to get more audience, because I think as all of these publishers are fighting for a much more restrained audience, being on a single platform might be actually more detrimental nowadays than being
a chunk of money from the platform.
I think it's going to get to the point where publishers are if Sony's I want exclusive, I think publishers are going to start to ask for them to recoup some of the costs that they're losing from being single platform.
Yeah.
Because also the reality is, with inflation and everything, we can't afford all the games and all the consoles. And until I would say the last maybe 6 to 8 months, it was impossible to get a PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm. True.
Now they're in stock and they seem to be available-ish. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I mean, even the Xbox, it was unless you wanted a Series S, the Series X was hard to get, hard to find. The really high end one, and new GPUs. It was hard to get your hands on a GPU. So at the same time, it's Sony's paying for the exclusive, but what's the market penetration of the console? Did they reach their saturation, or is it they're just basically, their sale figures are great, but because as soon as they're stocked, they sell it, but are they actually reaching saturation, or they just can't make enough of them for them to make it profitable for everybody involved because of the pandemic, because of limited resources and everybody fighting for the same resources to make electronics. So I think in terms of sustainability in games, multi-platform is going to have to be the way to go, instead of forcing people to buy plastic and transistors and very rare earth that they're going to use to play a game once every 3 months, maybe once a year.
It helps seeing this perspective too after we've heard all the stuff that happened with Xbox, to get an idea of what it is, because the big thing in that conversation was that they were talking about of how it was doing so well and reaching goals, and then they closed the studio. They made Hi-Fi Rush, and everybody's like, well, then what does that mean? What are these goals, right? Mm-hmm. Where is this coming from? And this is a little bit of a through the looking glass of how they predict these numbers, right? And I think people often forget that it's not just the cost to make the game, that what equals out to breaking bank, right? Being successful on it.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you factor in all the costs. It might be news to some people that there's a platform fee, and then again, there's marketing, and marketing is a big budget. It's huge. So you have to account for all of that. So
a social channel is one thing, but there's paid social, and then there's working with creators, and then there's manning those social channels, and then making sure you're putting out the right thing and making all the assets to grow on these social channels. And that's just one. Then there's freaking mainstream media, right? Mm-hmm. And the cost of that. Mm-hmm. And there's different avenues there. And do you want to be having your thing during the NHL playoffs or something like that? Because that's prime time. You know, you're going to get lots of eyeballs, but that costs money. So yeah, it's and then all the support after the fact, that costs money too. Keeping a game online costs money. We talked about that with the crew shutdown. Like, I don't think people realize how expensive this stuff is, and the more bloated the games become, be that graphics or whatever else, you know, and support after the fact and not being able to recoup that money, that's where things start to hit. But then will there be retroactive? We start getting high quality games, but at a smaller scale or something like that, right? Or other ways to make money and things like that. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, and the timeline is really helpful too. Of just like, if your game takes 5 years to take, like, you're budgeting for that roughly before you probably even start developing. Would probably be my guess, is that you're thinking like, okay, if we're forecasting the next 4 releases out, we're budgeting for that now. And like, that's such a tricky thing to budget, like, for a 5-year, like, and so much can happen in 5 years.
Yep.
And like with inflation, right? Yeah, inflation and you know, real estate exploding and having to suddenly everybody works from home because of the pandemic. So now you have like, you know, like Zoom or Citrix licenses and stuff like that, or Parsec or whatever.
And in the U.S., that's a political cycle. That's a presidential cycle, because we do every 4 years, which impacts everything. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's really fun to hear the inside baseball of how all this works and putting it into perspective when these news story hits and everybody's up in arms. They're like, well, that's why.
That's why, like, every studio has their cash cow, right? Mm-hmm. So that you can kind of like recoup the costs or help recoup if a game flops, or to just have like a constant revenue stream in order to fund the rest of your development.
Yep. Kat, you brought another interesting article, which you titled "The Great Game Media Consolidation." Bring us to this one.
Yeah, so IGN acquired the Gamer Network family of digital brands for an undisclosed sum. And this is coming from GameIndustry.biz that got acquired. And by the way, a lot of, like, just as soon as this was announced, a lot of people announced that they were laid off or lost their job. Like, they acquired and then they slashed. So Gamer Network publication are GameIndustry.biz, Eurogamer, Rock Paper Shotgun, VG247, and Dicebreaker. They also hold shares in Outside Xbox, Digital Foundry, and Hookshot, which operates Nintendo Life, Push Square, Pure Xbox, and Time Extension.
That is like a huge chunk.
Yeah.
Of
and
the
IGN,
video game.
Yeah.
Like,
and
media.
And just
area.
for like to have like an idea of how big IGN is right now, IGN Entertainment includes IGN, Map Genie, How Long to Beat, and Humble Bundle.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember when they bought Humble Bundle. That was a few years ago.
And they acquired the websites from PAX and New York Comic Con organizer ReedPop, which had initially bought the Gamer Network in 2018. So they bought like Gamer Network from PAX and ReedPop.
Yeah.
Not including in the sales are UK-based events EGX or MCM, or the digital brand Popverse, which remains with ReedPop. So, you know, we were talking about like acquisition and basically Microsoft buying everybody and how bad it is. I think this is just as bad. I'm going to be honest. Like, you need want a diversity of voices. Mm-hmm. But it's like, as soon as it becomes like a mega corporation and people are made redundant and brands are made redundant, it's just less voices.
And it
journalist
means like,
integrity.
And it also means like less knowledge, in the sense that like now we can go, you know, we're talking about the Fantasy Critic, and that's all based on OpenCritic, and OpenCritic comes with all the stuff tied to, you know, all these big, you know, prestige media sites, media publications that cover video games with like, you know, they have rules and journalistic ethics and all this kind of stuff covering games and doing stuff. And like, now there's going to be less and less of that potentially because that already people started getting cut and stuff. And I mean, what we do is like we talk about the games and the things that we like in our perspective, but I'm not the first person to say that I'm a journalist. Like, I'm a critic. I'm an art critic. That's what I do. That's what I went to school for. I am an art critic. And with a media spin on things. But that means that I only know certain parts of the industry, right? And I don't have we don't have a profile like some of these places that are like some of the biggest, like this is where the news is broken. a lot of cases.
And like there's business analysts, investigative journalists, opinion think piece, stuff like that like us, not that we can't do, but like we don't go with the hubris of saying we can be these people. Like, it's like not with a full-time job.
But it's also not what we're educated in, right?
No. And it's like, just like to take the time to like bridge that gap in knowledge to be able to do it. Like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I think I have some of the skill sets to do it, but also the pursued interest to bridge that gap and to find crafts and to fine tune like that kind of thing. No, instead I decided to go into the pretty pictures and the icons, and now I make video game UI. That's what I decided to fine tune. It's not just because I can write good and read good that I can do this like on a whim. So I just think I'm sad.
It's so many big sites.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not just like the ones, like the fingers in stuff like Digital Foundry and Nintendo Life and all these ones that you like all these different voices so that you can have different opinions and different, and it's not just all the same stuff, right? I love going and seeing all these different people talking about these games.
Yeah.
And one person might picked out one thing and another person picked out something else and all that. So yeah, this is...
I just hope that a lot of these people that branched out, maybe they do like a lot of the people that branch out from IGN. Like, that's how we got Kind of Funny, right?
Yeah. Which is a small, independent, but still making waves. That is hard work. And you need to build your brand from the start, and they kind of got that a bit off the back of IGN, right? So
yes, they capitalized
that's hard.
off that.
Yeah,
yes.
that is hard work. You need to be dedicated to do that. And there's no safety net.
Nope, there's no safety net. And they're still, like, in the very, genesis of, like, what they're going to become, too. And like you said, like, there's so much that has to go into all that all the time, like, constantment work. Like, it's just grinding.
I think they're 10 years old next January.
So just
holy shit.
Yeah. I think Kind of Funny started in 2014.
Wow.
Kind of Funny.
I feel like they've done a lot in 10
games. Let me just see if there's a Wikipedia. I have a feeling like they even talked about that. Games.
Somehow it makes sense, but at the same time, it blows my mind.
January 4th, 2015, and it was Greg Miller, Colin Moriarty, Nick Scarpino, and Tim Geddes who started it.
Also,
so
almost.
So they're getting there.
Next, the start of next year, it'll be a decade. Wow.
Oh my God, it was the same year I got married.
There you go. That's an easy way to remember when IGN started.
or Kind of Funny started.
Sorry,
They left IGN
They
and
left
they announced
IGN.
this.
Yeah.
I was heartbroken when I heard that they left IGN, though, because it was their podcast stuff is like what got me really interested in podcasting. But then they were starting this new thing. I was like, this is cool. Go, you guys.
Hopefully they don't do like Watcher and lay off their own audience.
But do you see some of the other ones? I think it's the Try Guys now and how they are spinning things, and people are being a little bit more receptive to that. They're putting some stuff behind a subscription paywall. They're still having stuff for free, and one of the guys is leaving.
Well, Eugene?
Eugene is, right?
Yeah, Eugene's laughing. Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, I think that's fine. Like, if there is free content that I want, like, that's great. And if it's just giving me the choice. If I want more, then I'll pay for it. And if not, then I'm very happy with what you're giving me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Watcher guy, which are also like BuzzFeed alumni, that sounded like a complete fiasco. So anyway, kind of funny, has all of these people to learn from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, also, like, the rebirth of Smosh, because, like, Anthony Padilla did his own thing, and then Smosh, the people that own them, went bankrupt, so now they're independent again. So Anthony is back with his former co-star, and they're reviving Smosh, and now they have a song out with Baby No Money, and I'm just like, go you guys. Like, bring back early 2000 YouTube. Like, what the fuck?
We're nostalgic for now. That was 20 years ago. Remember that? That was 20 years ago. 2004 was 20 years ago.
Yeah. My knees hurt.
I know. Mine too. Next story. Just want to take a hot minute because we talked about it last week, but then didn't really talk about it because we were so tied up in game reviews and stuff. Assassin's Creed Shadow trailers dropped a few weeks ago, and I don't know about you guys, but I is excited. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's gonna happen with this game. I'm really hoping it's an Origin/Odyssey thing again, where I just fall back in love with the Assassin's Creed series. The concept of potentially having two protagonists, one that's kind of like a heavy attack, and then the other one that's more like assassin, speedy, stabby.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. What a friggin' trailer, too.
Yes, that trailer was so hype. And can I say, actually, with the dual character, I think that could work so well. And a part of me sort of wished that there was some of that aspect in the Rise of Ronin a bit. I actually was anticipating that in that game, and it didn't have that, and so I am really looking forward to experiencing. I've never played an Assassin's Creed game, and this one kind of, I was like, ooh, is this my time? Like, is this the one that is going to get me? Because I am here for the Japanese, like, historic shogun train. Like, I'm all for it since Ghost of Tsushima, and I've been watching all the TV around it and everything, so like I love this. Like, please give me more. Thank you.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's Yasuke.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so for those listening, the famous black, some say retainer, some say samurai, people got really pissy on Twitter.
Yep.
There's a black guy in samurai garb with a sword, and he's amazing, and he's historically accurate. But also historical games like Ghost of Tsushima and also Assassin's Creed, Assassin's Creed is anchored in history, but they will take the creative liberties that they need to. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times it's just like, there's a lot of gaps a lot of stuff is left for interpretation, and that's where they get creative. So don't get too pissy about the accuracy of Yasuke and that time period. Like, as long as they make good, that they're respectful of the culture and the history, they can make, like, let's not get pissy. It's like a lot of stuff on Twitter I'm seeing is just, if you're racist, just
I
say
know, it's stupid. But, and the thing
like,
is
just
too,
say
is like,
that you don't want to play a black guy.
There's a shinobi woman there. Like, there's a female assassin there who looks like a
my favorite comment
badass.
was like somebody quote tweeting somebody saying, I don't want to play a black guy, I want to play like an Asian character, like a Japanese character, and somebody saying like, that shinobi, like, this is like best assassin confirmed, they don't even see her on the key art. She's right there.
It's right there. No, it's gonna be great. I'm not the type I like playing like an assassin sneaky character. I'm not the one to go, full in, guns blazing kind of deal in how I build my Assassin's Creed character. So I'm really hoping that it's kind of minimal, the balance. You know, obviously we're projecting now of what's going to happen, of like if there is a time when you go back and forth. But what I loved in Odyssey was the fact that you got to choose who the character, like who you played as and who the villain is. So I know that there is capability potentially that they could build it so that you stick with one or the other, or maybe you can flip back and forth, like in Valhalla, where like in some places you could play as, you had the choice, or you were essentially whatever the game deemed, and it was different in different places if you're in Valhalla or back on Earth. So,
or like Syndicate,
but Syndicate did more of it forced you to change in situations.
There were certain storyline, like Evie had her storyline and Jacob had his storyline, but there was like main story stuff that you could be either or.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of the story was sometimes they would just like divide and conquer, then you would play a bit of Evie and then you would play a bit of Jacob, and when they came back, from what I remember, it's been a while. That was like, we were talking about 2015, pretty sure that game came out in 2015.
Either that or before. But yeah. And it's Ubisoft Quebec who's doing it, who previously developed Odyssey, Syndicate, and yeah, apparently development began on this in 2020 following the release of Valhalla. I am excited. Comes out November 15th, 2024. So it's right. It's technically right around the corner. It will be November in no time, folks. Just putting it out there.
Oh my god.
Time flies.
It's not even summer. Give me a spring.
Speaking of time flying and it almost being Summer Games Fest. So, like we mentioned at the top of the show, we're going to be taking a small break next week, but that's okay, because it's not like there's other video game content to go and watch, right? Joelle, bring us through all the fun stuff happening Summer Games Fest 2024 in the schedule.
Yes, so I wanted to throw in the schedule, because I also was like, wait, I need to plan my time, and I need to make sure I don't miss anything. So we have the link for the Summer Games Fest schedule. And at a glance, it's going to start on June 7th, and it will run through June 10th. And on June 7th, looks like we're going to have the Accessibility Summer Showcase. Summer Game Fest Live will happen June 7th in the afternoon. And then there's the Day of the Devs, and the Devolver Direct will also be on that day. So a smash up schedule for the first day. The 8th we'll have Wholesome Games, Latin American Games Showcase, and Future of Play Direct, women-led games. Has that been a category before?
No.
Oh.
I think that's new from this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
I am too. I saw that and I was like, I don't recall seeing that
1
before.
1 p.m. Wholesome Direct. Ooh, the question is the Wholesome Direct going to be just an hour? Because that would make sense.
Mm-hmm. And then Future Games Showcase, and then some bigger fish to fry on the 9th with the Xbox Games Showcase. Straight after the Xbox Games Showcase, of course, they're going to go into I feel like a pretty hefty Black Ops 6 Direct, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And then PC Gaming Show is also on the 9th. And the 10th right now on the schedule is the Ubisoft Forward. The Nintendo Direct is on the schedule, but it's a to be announced.
To be confirmed, yeah.
To be confirmed.
Yeah.
So what's also nice about the schedule, as we've said in the past, is that it shows different time zones. So you can be sure to just take a screenshot and mark it in your time zone, and you should be good to go. But yes, very excited to see what's going to be happening for the Summer Games Fest, and just consuming all of the things as much as possible.
I'm so happy Canadian Music Week happens before this.
Yes.
Because usually what ends up happening, everything kind of happens around the same time. We usually have Jingle Ball around the same time that the Game Awards are happening. And then, Canadian Music Week is usually the very beginning of June. So most of my stuff is heavy in the beginning of the week. Sunday, there's a cool event. Like, there's a podcasting thing happening on the Sunday, which is pretty new. Like, it's the first year they're doing like the full force, like a podcasting day. And there's 2 radio days that are happening, and then there's a bunch of things happening over the course. But like when Friday hits, I'll essentially be worked out at that point. And I'll be exhausted. I'll be like, time to sit back and drink a glass of wine and enjoy the actual Summer Game Fest Live, which is happening 5 p.m. our time on Friday for Eastern, 2 p.m. PDT, and then 10 p.m. BST. So yeah, go to gamesradar.com. They've got a great grid that'll show you all the times.
And it seems as though you can watch things on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or TikTok, and it kind of breaks down the big events where you can watch them at. But yeah, you can watch them on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm curious how they're going to format it on TikTok, if they're going to tell you to turn it, rotate it, because some things they do now, they tell you like better watch rotated. So
if you find a streamer that like are basically like in vertical instead of horizontal, you just flip your phone and it'll go full screen.
that's cool. I like that. So yeah, we, of course, will speak all about the things that we like out of Summer Game Fest when we are back with episode 450. But until then, please check out the show notes on girlsongames.ca for links to all the stories mentioned in this episode. Thank you very, very much, Catherine, for putting that together for us every week. If you enjoy this show, or if you want to yell at us for taking a week off because of my work schedule, please rate or review our podcast on podcasting platforms where you can consume it. We do really appreciate all the comments you put in there. It helps us build our show. And then, of course, everything else helps make our podcast more discoverable for new listeners. This is the moment in time when I ask the team to shout out their social media handles so you can follow them anywhere and everywhere online. Catherine, where can people find you?
I am CSDSBINS on X, Blue Sky, where am I? Threads, Instagram. But I mostly shitpost all day, and Discord, Girls on Games.
Nice. Joelle, how about you?
People can find me on Instagram at JoelleLauren87, and then on X at gamer_comfy. But all day, every day, chatting away in the Girls on Games Discord. Come and say hi.
And I am Leah Jew, our most social media platforms, but of course you want to know everything there is to know about Girls on Games. You can track us down at The Girls on Games on X and Facebook. Just Girls on Games, no dot in there on Instagram and Threads. Discord.me/Girls on Games to continue this lovely conversation and more. But of course, if you ever want to know anything at all, you can track it down at our home base. That is our website, girlsongames.ca. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Joelle. It's been another lovely week in video games, and I think I'm gonna go and maybe play a little bit more of Little Known Galaxy before bed.
Get it?
Yes, I think I will. All right, see y'all next 2 weeks' time. See you in 2 weeks' time. All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.